I've posted before. I own a small board game company. I'm not a real retail guy, props to those who are, but before the pandemic, I attended 2-3 game conventions a year, and of course we have a booth and I'd help sell our product there, along with other team members. No doubt we'll return to the conventions once the black clouds lift completely. TL, doctor, dude wants rare item free. Gets a refund instead. Comes back later looking for a deal and gets the reverse. To help you all to understand, normally our goal at a convention is to sell 100% of our product that we brought. We hate shipping stuff back to our warehouse. So much that on occasion we'll sell excess stock at a slight discount on the last day, Sunday. But usually we sell out. Another important thing to remember is that our games are highly desired, and they are often out of stock online, so people are excited to see these rare games in person at the convention where they can pick one up at last. Often people will buy an extra copy to take to a friend who couldn't make the trip. Anywho, here I am at a game convention and that guy shows up with one of my highly desired but really expensive games. But lo and behold, there's a ding in the corner of the box. That guy wants a discount. My argument here is, you already bought this game. The time to ask for a discount was then. That guy lays down the law, either give me a discount or a refund. Me no problemo, pal, and I give him a full refund. In cash. That guy is amazed, but takes the money and walks away. I had no evidence he'd even bought that game at the convention, but I didn't care, because I knew we were going to sell out. Then I find out what that guy's sinister plan was. He comes back on Sunday to see if he can pick up a copy of highly desired game at a discount, because it's the last day. Lo and behold, we have only 3 copies of highly desired game remaining, and in fact we are considering price gouging because people are literally fighting over who gets the last copies. We don't though. That guy asks for his discount because it's the last day, and instead I sell all 3 remaining copies while he watches. Gotta wait in line, buddy. He even looks at the boxes to see if one of them has the dinged corner, but no, because I sold that one like an hour after he turned it in. At my job at a convenience store, we also sell cigarettes, and because of that, we must ID people that look under 30 to see if they are 18 years of age to buy it, but of course there are some rules with ID. It must be a photo ID, so no health cards. It must be government issued. So provincial ID, military ID, and driver's license. We do not accept treaty status cards. And finally, it must be up to date, so even if you are 20 years old, but your card expired even 1 day ago, we cannot sell. Of course, also making sure the ID is real. Failing things could mean a loss of license, a fine, the employee getting fired, or all of the above, with some stores closing because of it. This takes us to me, working the last 15 minutes of my shift, getting ready for the person working night coming in, when a customer came in asking for cigarettes. He looked to be over 30, so I grabbed the cigarettes he wanted when he took his ID out. I put the box to the side and checked it, and lo and behold, I see that the ID he used, a driver's license, expired in 2018. So I told him that I couldn't sell and put away the cigarettes. Thus opens the gates of hell, as he got pissed, saying that I never asked for ID and was going to give it to him. I just explained that he did show ID, it was expired, and that I cannot accept it as valid. He then tried to get my co-workers on his side, but they all agreed, it did not matter, he showed ID, it was expired, and by law I cannot sell the cigarettes to him. After he realized that he was not getting his way, and we explained that it was the law, he flat out stated, "You don't need to follow the law." My assistant manager barred him from the store and had the phone ready to call the cops if the customer didn't leave. He left. My assistant manager congratulated me. And I said to him, "You know, I would have sold them if he didn't show his ID." He looked to be over 30. All he said was yeah, but he was a moron. Since the pandemic began, we've dealt with people saying they can't wear masks, and they obviously can. Today this woman came in and I asked her if she could wear a mask. She said that she couldn't because of a medical exemption, and where I work we can only say to stay 6 feet away from people, so I did. I guess 2 other of my co-workers asked her as well, and she started claiming she was being harassed. She comes through my line and I ask how her day was going and she gives me her sob story that she was harassed into wearing a mask. I politely tried to explain that we didn't mean anything by it and it's part of our job. She argues with me that she was singled out and starts swearing. I decided to piss her off by saying, "Ma'am, there's no need for that." She says so it's okay to get harassed but not okay to say fuck? I'm going to call head office on your store. My coworker said pretty much what I said and gave her a card with the number to head office. She continues to raise her voice and yell and I just was at the end of my rope and just thought fuck it, I don't care if I get in trouble. I say your lungs are working pretty well now, aren't they? I don't know if she heard me or not but was it ever satisfying? So let's hear your stories. This one is from years ago but will forever stand out to me as the most ridiculous experience I've ever had in retail. I worked for a big wholesale retail company that's membership-based for a combined 4 years. My last year in the company I worked in the electronics section primarily selling cell phones but occasionally I'd need to cover the sales floor and advise on television, other sales as needed. One day an elderly woman came in with her husband. Her TV just broke and she was looking for a new one. The member explained that her old TV had screen issues but she liked it because it was easy for her to connect an HDMI to it and watch her Eastern European news channels on the screen itself. I'm like, that's cool, you can get a Vizio that has built-in Chromecast capacities so you can cast things from your phone to the screen. We spent like 2 hours discussing her options. The woman's husband was disabled and she was elderly so I told her to buy online to have it delivered to her house or to purchase the straight-to-home delivery service. She did, and that was that. A week later, this woman comes in on a complete rampage. She explains she can't get the TV set up, that I lied to her about what it could do, while also explaining she hadn't actually plugged it in, and that she wanted her money back. Problem is, she didn't have the TV with her. So she wanted a refund on a TV she didn't even come in with. My manager explained to her she needed to bring it in, and that she'd get fired refunding a product that isn't in the store. The lady scoffed and said, "Well, I'd risk it if I were you because I'm upset." My manager, trying to level with her, was all, "I have kids to feed, I'm not getting fired over your TV," and the woman replied, "We all have kids to feed." The lady called me a bitch for selling her the wrong TV for her needs but also said I was smarter than anyone else in my department because she had come in and asked my other co-workers about TVs and they didn't know what to tell her. My 3 other male co-workers were not normally very helpful. Meanwhile, her husband was in the parking lot playing with the birds to avoid this drama. TL, Doctor, I sold a TV to a woman one time in my retail job and she proceeded to try to get a refund without returning the item. The store I work at is driven primarily by customer service, and one of those services is dedicated baggers. Customer C comes in with her own bags, which I am completely chill with. I love less plastic consumption. C, you can put my oranges next to my bread to save space. Me, okay. I put the oranges next to the bread. She looks pleased, and after the whole goodbye, have a great evening, she leaves. About 5 minutes later she comes back in extremely angry. C, why did you put the oranges next to my bread? It's all crushed, look. She proceeds to show me the barley crushed bread. C, where is your manager? Trying to avoid the confrontation altogether, I simply pointed her towards my manager and went back to whatever I was doing. C, he put my oranges next to my bread and it's crushed? Manager, well, I'll have a talk with him. My manager took the crushed bread to the back, took up some new bread, and never talked to me about it. Best Karen altercation. TL, Doctor, angry woman tells me to put bread next to oranges, oranges barley crush bread. She gets pissed, manager is chill. For background, I work for the corporate headquarters of a national retail store. Our stores are privately owned mom-and-pop stores that join our corporation for purchasing power, marketing and other member perks. We don't have any say in the day-to-day running of the stores. That's not how our contracts work. Suffice it to say, we don't have a customer service department and we don't handle customer complaints outside of taking the customer's info and passing it back onto the store. We don't have our 800 number listed as it's for members only, but we do sometimes get calls from customers that are able to locate our local number. Also, a lot of times customers in the local area will search for a store and our address pops up, so they call to get directions and we clarify that we aren't a store and give them the closest store's phone number. On to the story. I get a call from a woman on our local line, and here is how the conversation goes. Me, company name, this is me, how can I help you? Karen, where are you located? This immediately threw up a flag that this wasn't a member store calling. So I asked her, may I ask what this is in regards to? She snaps, I'm asking where are you located, just answer the question. Great first impressions, lady. Me, this is the corporate headquarters located in city, state, may I ask what this is in regards to? Karen, I have been calling your location in other city for over a month, I called 5 times today alone, and no one ever answers. They are closed down. Look up my order from over a year ago and tell me what I purchased. Me, I'm sorry, our stores are all independently owned stores. We do not have a master database with purchase information. Looking at my records I see that store is still an active store. I can take your information and reach out to the store to contact you. Karen, they are closed. What am I supposed to do? Me, I show they are still an active store. I can take your information and look into this for you. She continues to insist the store is closed permanently. I reiterate that I have to look into it. I managed to get her contact information at some point. But I am most definitely losing my patience and I don't have to take any abuse from her. She is yelling and accusing me of not being helpful. I explained that we have no control over stores or how they are run and don't have access to their information. Somewhere in her rants she says, so if I wanted to sue, I wouldn't be able to? And I'm thinking, no, you couldn't sue us, that's not how that works. If a store closed and you're angry and want to sue, it doesn't come back to us. You might be able to sue the manufacturer of the product, but good luck. I finally snapped and told her to stop yelling at me. I laid into her, but I don't even remember all that I said because I was seeing red. Then I hung up on the lady. My co-worker a couple desks over was looking at me with a pikachu face. I did pass the information on to the store, which coincidentally was still open. Follow-up, she wanted to know how to clean her product because she spilled ginger ale on it.